Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. What's up guys, this is Altcoin Sherpa with the Crypto Market Review. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not an expert, do your own research. Today I'm going to review Bitcoin, probably just Bitcoin. I don't know, I haven't been in the market at all the last 2 weeks, so let's get to it. This is BTC USD on the weekly. And yeah, as I said, I was traveling the last 2 weeks. Don't really have a great idea of what's going on in the market, so let's try to figure it out live here. What are we looking at here? So Bitcoin obviously had a really strong move the last 2 weeks, strong weekly close. It's important to note that price hasn't closed. I think it's important to check out some of these weekly closes from the past. And whether or not you want to mark this 30.2K level. This was the previous high back in April before price dipped down and then came back up. You could also look at the wicks as well. It kind of just depends, like what your trading style is, what your targets, what you're looking at. I think it's better to really contextualize this like quote unquote area as an SR level. And that's one thing that, like, if you've been in crypto for a while, you like notice there's a lot of trading trends, order flow within TA or different ways of interpreting data. And back in like 2018, 2019, like order blocks were all the rage. And if you looked at a lot of Trader Main and Crypto Creds videos and stuff like that, there was like a lot of that stuff. But it really helped me understand charts a lot better in the sense that instead of looking at just straight lines, which I do chart with still, it's better to think of like areas on the chart that are support or resistance levels or supply and demand, however you want to interpret that data. And it just helps. I mean, again, it depends on how you trade. If you like are a very precise trader, you need like very clean levels and you're working on like the 5-minute, then obviously that's like not going to work for you. But if I think it's personally for me, it's easier for me to visualize like areas as SR levels. So what are we looking at here? I'm going to use this here, this demand zone that we saw on the 3-day back in January of 21. This area was a strong support level all throughout 21. For the most part, it was the low back in the summer of 21. And obviously after that, price went to all-time highs and then dipped below it. It consolidated for a while, and now it's a current resistance area. So, I mean, if you want to really visualize it, you could just go like this, where same exact box, but just a different color. So support, 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 resistance, resistance, resistance. And this is also important too, where it shows that if you really want more clean levels, it's better to go to lower time frames. For example, like the daily is going to show stuff that the 3-day is not going to have, like, and it's so on and so forth. Like 3-day is going to show stuff that the weekly is not going to show. Here you can see on the 3-day, you can see a demand level set in January 2021, and support, and then resistance. So right now, how I'm contextualizing this is I'm really just contextualizing this area as a resistance level. No true break of this level for quite some time. And if you want to get more precise, you can also use this daily level that I just marked here. It's the 3-day close, not daily, it's the 3-day close back in 21. And it's also interesting to note that price hasn't closed above that level on the daily. Well, I guess you could technically call this like a close on the April like 13th, 14th area, but then a swift deviation and then a breakdown. And as I said before, really not the place to open fresh longs up here, and arguably still not right now the place to open fresh longs. And the reason is that this is still a resistance area, still a supply zone. There's still going to be sellers potentially in this area. A cleaner way of trading this would probably be to wait for a clean break. I don't know where it'd be, maybe like go up to like low 30s, come back, retest, and then if you still believe this is a bull market, then you would target kind of this 37, 40K area. Certainly possible. Don't know, if or when that's going to happen. Of course, it just depends on how you want to trade. The goal of these videos and the goal of Twitter and Twitter education, and this is kind of deviating off topic a little bit, but is really just to get you to think about how to trade. It's not to give you a system. It's not to tell you exactly this is what you have to do. This is the way you need to do things. I think that every crypto educator and every influencer, every trading person out there is trying, they should be trying to get you to learn how to think about the market and how to interpret it and how you should kind of create your own style, create your own system, create your own way of doing things, because different people interpret data differently. And I'll say that it's really important to find the trading method that works best for your personality, your circumstances, your time availability, your risk management. All that stuff just all comes into play. And also just like how you interpret the data. Like some people might be doing all sorts of different indicators. I personally just use like a few, like EMAs, volume, volume profile, but it just depends. You can use a lot of different stuff, and people are very successful in other ways. So, I'm not here to criticize any other way. I'm just really trying to say that when I say, this would be a way that you can take the trade, that doesn't mean that that's like the only way. You could also say, oh, well, you know what? I think this is just like going to chop around. This is going to eat up all the sellers, consolidation, and then going up. We're just going to go to 40K. And that's a totally reasonable standpoint too, because we already saw this this move here back in April, ate some of the supply up, and now we're seeing here every single time we see price consolidate around here, we see price eating up more of the sellers. So, if you do believe that this is going to go ahead and break up, then sure, you can take a buy here, But again, every trade setup is different, every style is different, every trader is different. So for me personally, how I'm personally going to play this move is I personally view this current area as resistance. As I said, area 30K to 31, maybe low 32Ks. This area is resistance. And as I showed before on the other left side of the chart, this is just like an overall supply zone. I personally would rather wait for Bitcoin to break above, or have like a solid daily close or like a few daily closes above these kind of 32, 33K areas, and then be more comfortable buying around there. Probably would wait for the pop though, and by pop I mean strong move up. So maybe this goes like 35K and then it'll like dip down. Another way you could potentially do it too is you could also just bid like these lower levels like 25K. That's also a reasonable strategy. But let's like think about some different scenarios here. So I'm also sorry that I deviated off track a little bit from the overall just general market analysis, but the overall points still stand. So what are my overall plans here for price if it does break this 32K area? Well, as I said, this is a very strong region. I think that if we see a price breaking above this level, then I would probably view like around 40K being like the ultimate midterm target. Don't know what that looks like. If you use volume profile here, it looks like there is a chunk of a lot of activity all throughout this 35 to 40K area, and then it thins out for a little bit between 40 to 47K or so. And again, this rally could go higher than we all think. Again, don't know what the rally ultimately will look like. BlackRock ETF is huge news, of course. Maybe we even go to like 50K. I have no idea, but I will play it level to level. If we do break this 32K area, I would probably view, I don't know, maybe like high 38 or high 30Ks to the low 40Ks is like the next kind of quote unquote area up. But it's important to note that there's just a lot of choppy activity all throughout this area. So what I mean by choppy activity is that the levels to me are not super clear unless you go down to very low time frame charts. But when you see a lot of this like overall choppy price action, and you see price, consolidating, lots of volume being transacted, as you can see on volume profile, it means that these targets are not so clear. Now, you might get somebody that can say, oh, like, look, like maybe you could mark this like this 36.5K level, and it'd be totally reasonable. You can see price dip below several times, and if you want to use the weekly close here at 36.2, if you want to be more precise, totally reasonable. As you can see, price dipped down below this area for several times, and then but still held before rallying up to 47 and then dying again. This would be a totally reasonable area as well. What I'm trying to say is that if price breaks 32K, it's going to be probably a grind to get up to 40K-ish. I don't know. Maybe there's just strong buying that occurs, but I don't really know. I don't see that personally. But I expect there to be a lot of grinding through. I don't know what it's going to look like, and the overall take profit levels are a little bit confusing to me. I would look at 36K and then 40K. Now, if price does not break through this level, that's also totally reasonable, and it makes sense. Price hasn't broken through this level in a year, right? So, like, chances are that this probably won't break through, to be frank and honest with you, and I don't think that you should honestly be going mega bullish at this level because it is a resistance level. Now, what are some areas to bid? You could potentially bid around this 25K area. This was a former demand level, or this is a current demand level here, set back in kind of early June period before this nice rally. This would make a lot of sense here, where price goes back down, retests this level again, and then breaks up. Or like if you just contextualize it as just one big massive range, also a totally reasonable view, where price is in this trading range, and you could actually just do probably a fib, honestly. Okay, it's not a perfect fib, but let's just do like the 0.5. Where do you want it? I don't know, something like this. You could like assume that if you just believe this overall thing is just like an overall consolidation chop period, chop fest, where price is just an accumulation range, and the next big move is going to be the Bitcoin halving in next year. Totally reasonable, by the way. Then maybe you just assume price is going to go back down to the 200-day EMA. Maybe we like break up falsely to 34K or something and then just start dying. In which case, it's just like more chop and consolidation, and then like there's no real quote unquote alt season. There's no prosperity or anything. This is just back in the range. Another totally reasonable view. What I'm trying to say is that paint yourself for a few different scenarios. Personally, for me, I view this as bullish myself. I think that this is going to go to 40K in the midterm, but it's a key level at this area. I would like to see a high time frame close above 33K or so, and then expect 40K. To the downside, I am looking at 25K as a bidding level. If it gets down to that level, I will bid as a first crack, see if that works out. And it's pretty easy in validation too, because there's just a lot of confluence in that area around 25K. Demand level, it was the 200-day EMA here, as you can see this red line. It's the 200 weekly EMA as well around that area. There's just a lot of confluence in that area. So like, you have a pretty easy invalidation if price breaks below there. So yeah, that's kind of my overall thoughts. This was a little bit longer of a video, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I will hopefully be doing some videos more this week. Thanks so much for the support. Talk soon.